And I recognize Mr. Mfume for an opening statement.
Thank you very much, Chairman Comer, Ranking Member Conley, to all of our witnesses who are appearing here today. Special hello to Mr. O'Malley, former mayor of Baltimore and governor of the state of Maryland, and special hello to Tom Davis, a former congressman who couldn't stay away, had to come back. Mr. Chairman, as members of Congress charged with the task of oversight, I think it's fair to say we should all have the same expectations when it comes to performance and when it comes, quite frankly, to productivity, and that no matter the level of federal telework, each agency choosing to utilize telework must, in fact, operate and execute their own unique mission effectively and efficiently. I think it's fair to say what this means is that Congress has a duty to engage and work with nonpartisan, objective organizations where possible to ensure that agency heads throughout government are properly collecting data and evaluating the impact of telework. It means also that Congress must provide the proper levels of funding to allow agency heads to be able to hire workers that they in fact need to do the work and to evaluate telework performance on a regular basis with a regular standard. What this does not mean, I think it's fair to say, is that all federal employees who are teleworking are lazy or apathetic or are not doing their job. And it does not mean that all telework should be abandoned or eliminated. While we're all here trying to, I hope, seek and find common ground on this matter, it certainly does not mean that any of us sitting as lawmakers have any sort of right to harass or to denigrate federal employees / American citizens who have chosen to dedicate their life and their life's employment to public service. I think it's also fair to say that we must remember that in the wake of COVID-19, millions of Americans, including federal workers, were forced to shift to telework. Telework was not always perfect, but in difficult conditions, lest we forget our hard-working federal employees, who exist, by the way, in all of our districts, delivered over and over again during that period for the American people. While the pandemic and public health emergencies raged on and ultimately ended, President Biden initiated a return to federal offices in August of 2023. Today, according to the Office of Personnel Management, about half of all federal employees are eligible for telework, eligible, not doing it. And while 10% are fully remote. Currently, across the federal government, telework-eligible employees spend about 61% of their time in the office. These figures mean that we find ourselves in a place where telework has become an integral part of the federal landscape. Evidence borne out shows over and over again the fact that telework with the right safeguards can lead to improved productivity and better attract and retain sorely needed talent. For example, a recent GAO report shared that Veterans Benefits Administration found that telework helped employee engagement as well as employee retention. And the Social Security Administration experienced a 6.2% gain in productivity last year, while I should say in a telework posture. At the end of the day, telework is not a cure-all or a be-all. It is simply a tool. And like any other tool, has its value, its worth. So instead of taking that out of the toolbox, we ought to do a better job, I think, of trying to find a way to uplift our federal employees and examining how we can use the tool of telework to improve our federal workforce and the federal services they provide. So as we enter into this hearing, the first of the 119th Congress, this committee, I think, has a real choice. We can commit to doing the real hard oversight and cooperation needed to actually improve the efficiency and the effectiveness of our government, or we can give in to attempts to score political points. When I say efficiency and effectiveness, I think that ought to be the goal of all of us. And so as we examine this whole area of telework, if that is our guidepost, our North Star, and ultimately we will find a way that increases the effectiveness and the efficiency of our workforce. And so it's my real hope that all of us colleagues on both sides of the aisle make the right choice as we move forward. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back. Thank you for the time.